Welcome back, friends. Not to be too cheesy, but this is Nacho Ordinary Podcast. It is MB2 Underground. My name is Sarah Kiefer.
And I'm JT. Sarah, what is your favorite Mexican dish?
Specifically the Chuy's Deluxe Chicken Enchiladas.
Oh, Chuy's is so good.
Yeah, or the Boom Boom.
Well, you got me on Mexican food because you said nachos. Is there a reason you said nachos?
I think you're supposed to tell me if there's a reason I said nachos.
Oh, that's right. I do the
Yep.
intros.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, today we are glad to have Dr. Paul Goodman on our podcast. He is the founder of Dental Nachos, Dentist Job Connect, and the owner of 2 dental practices in New Jersey. So, man of many talents. And yeah, welcome, Paul.
Thanks for having me. I'd like to start off with something controversial.
Love it.
Not just that the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls recently and the Cowboys haven't since the 1900s, but also the best nachos on earth are in Philadelphia at Alves. So if you come, one of the reasons why they're the best is because they're served on a pizza pan. So all the toppings are evenly distributed, not just a giant mush of nachos where the toppings don't make it to the bottom.
Hot take, I love the giant mush. I like that every single bite is going to taste different. I like that I can curate my bite based on my interests at the time.
At the bottom, though, it's just chips. Toppings are gone.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was a really nice use of curate.
Oh, thank you.
I never thought of nachos and curate in the same sentence. I will challenge your, where did you say it was from?
Alves. Philadelphia.
I went to school down in College Station, and their RIP, Zapatos, was a restaurant there, and they had trash can nachos, and they were served on a trash can lid. So same thing, and they were amazing.
I've sent you can send trash can nachos as a gift from Guy Fieri to people to bring them joy, where it's made in a trash can, you make them at home, and it's a good gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, better than Harry and David.
Is
Alves.
He said it 3 times, bro.
Oh, guys, I'm just trying to, for all the listeners out there, just trying to make sure that they know. Is that where you came up with dental nachos?
It's a great question. The origin story is Alves is one of our favorite places in Philadelphia, but like most good ideas, they come from your wife. So in 2017, when Facebook groups for dentists were very, very new, and there was just a few out there, I said, I want to start my own to talk about implants and practice management and bringing dentists together. I had run study clubs in Philadelphia because I thought that the goal of our original study club, the Rising Dentist Study Club of Philadelphia, was if dentists got together when they were younger, they would hate each other less when they were older. We can talk about this, but my dad was a dentist and always frustrated him how dentists didn't get along, how there was this weird Hunger Games mentality. So I said, what should I name mine? And my wife said, call it Dental Nachos. I did work in a Mexican restaurant when I was 19 called Casa La Pita. Okay. That was the origin of that. I learned a lot of things at a corporate Mexican restaurant about service and things like that. And then I did a variety of things, dentist, practice broker, speaker. So I was like a bunch of nacho toppings myself.
You're the pepper jack of all trades.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. Is that a pun?
I've been waiting
metaphor?
since the very beginning.
I'm still trying to work out churro into something, but...
And then the metaphor for what the group is like is that nachos are meant to be shared. They get a little messy. You meet new friends through the process. There's a comedian, Nick Swartz, and I don't want to take any credit for this joke. He said you'd fight your grandmother for the last nacho chip on the plate if it's a good plate. So you get a plate of nachos with new people sharing those. It's not like mozzarella sticks. If there's 6, you just each take one if there's 6 people.
Yeah.
But nachos, you can identify if someone's taking too much. They're greedy. So,
I like that. So that started in 2017, you said?
Yeah, so 2017 was the Facebook group. Okay. I never knew what it would grow to. You can ask me a question. I just thought it would be a Facebook group. 1,000 people might join, and we would talk about things that were happening in dentistry.
Oh, that's cool. And so you start in 2017.
What were the biggest toppings of conversation?
Good. You cannot out nacho pun or metaphor analogy me, whatever they are.
I believe you.
No, I mean, you can't, I like it. So, surviving and thriving and not crying after dental school.
Okay.
I taught a course at my dental school Penn called I'm a Dentist Now What, where I would teach these students that there was way more to being successful than doing good crown preps. We would talk about brands. We would talk about if you were, one of the classic questions now I think about it was, if you were going to sell cars for a living, which type of car would you want to sell? Mercedes, Lexus, Volvo, Honda. And then I kind of explained to them that like their feelings toward that might dictate the type of dentistry that they wanted to do later. Because if you do Mercedes dentistry, you're going to sell fewer, but have to do really expensive cases and deal with that type of customer base. You sell Hondas, which a Honda salesperson could make way more than a Mercedes, but you're going to sell a lot more. People come to you for different reasons. So the goal was how to survive and thrive after dental school. Dental implants, which I do call Nachos. So I love this place here because you have a lot of dental terms on the wall.
Yeah,
The nerdiest of all dental terms by the wall. Like these are like some serious dental terms that you guys have out there.
And we know what they all mean.
Which I think is great.
So what they all are.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that like also teaching dental students and dentists that talking, I mean, I think it's fun to have these on the wall out here. So you guys say, hey, we're going to go into the sulcus room or the occlusion room. But if you use these terms with patients, they usually tune out because they're confusing. So also how to communicate with patients was they do not teach you in dental school. So those are big topics of conversation.
That's cool. So it was 2018 is when it started. Have you, in Facebook, have you moved it? It's moved to its own platform now, right?
No, we're still there. I mean, that was a great question. I was just talking with Jeff in the room before about different platforms. I'm here for the Mark Costas Dental Success Summit. He has a paid group called the Dental Success Network, which exists on its own platform, which is now in vivo. The dentist pay, I happen to be a sponsor of that group with Dentist Job Connect, just like you guys are. Thank you for being one of our biggest clients, or we're actually our biggest client for Job Connect.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we appreciate that. I'll send you an extra t-shirt.
Thanks.
Two, make it two.
Yeah, we'll send you 2 extra t-shirts. So right now it's still on Facebook because the group for Dental Nachos is modeled after Rittenhouse Square Park in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is known for these amazing parks. And I've gone to them since I've been in dental school. I'm 47. I've gone to Rittenhouse Square Park since I'm 21 years old, and not once have they charged me to go inside of that park. It's been free for 26 straight years.
That's cool.
But on the weekends, they have farmers markets, and they sell bagels, and they sell flowers, and they sell vegetables, and that supports the park. So Dental Nachos is very similar. There's no cost to be a member. We've also sponsors. MB2 is also a sponsor of the Facebook group, where we bring dentists together to learn, laugh, and feel less alone, teach you things you wish you learned in dental school. To continue with my analogies, you could stroll around a park, members scroll around our group and learn about things they didn't know existed. Like Dr. Colleen Moan from MB2 sharing her story and journey from, AI reading x-rays. AI is very hot now, like Hansel, if you get that joke from Zoolander.
So hot.
AI is so hot. Anything involved with AI. And AI to me is Allen Iverson, by the way, for people from Philadelphia. But, analyzing x-rays through AI wasn't a thing just a few years ago. And now it's a thing. And the Dental Nachos Facebook group brings these things to dentists so they can learn about them on their couch at 10 p.m., at the gym at 6 a.m. So it's really been a fun journey.
You've either just ruined AI for me or made it exponentially better.
I think better.
I love Allen Iverson.
You're talking about practice, right? Yeah. So it's yeah.
Sarah has no idea what we're talking about.
No, I do. It's an Iverson of the Allen variety.
We're talking about practice.
Sports.
Not a game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started as a dentist, and obviously it's evolved over the years. What originally got you into dentistry, and what made you want to shift into non-traditional dentistry?
A great question. So
thank you.
It all started with my failed dreams. So I had great parents. Sadly, they're not alive anymore, but they're amazing parents. And your parents tell you could be anything you want, and that's not true, because I wanted to play professional basketball in the NBA.
Oh.
And when you grow to this size and have this speed, you got to get new dreams, backup dreams. So
it's a very humbling experience.
Yes. In the 90s, growing up in New Jersey, many people were doctors, dentists, lawyers, or business people. My dad was a dentist, and he's an amazing dad and mentor. Never pushed me into dentistry, but he said, I like being my own boss. I like helping people. And I said, I like those things too. I did notice, and we could talk about this, how I think it's changed. As a child, looked like he had a tremendous amount of control over his schedule, when he wanted to work, not having to ask if he wanted to be off. So that was attractive to me. I'm always trying to do things, I don't want to say fast, but I like efficiency. So I went to Villanova, and they have a program where you go to college for 3 years, dental school for 4 years, you save a whole year. So I did Villanova and Penn. That was my 7-year program. My other 2 jobs I wanted to do were doctor like George Clooney from ER, or lawyer like Tom Cruise from A Few Good Men.
I picked my degree and my path based off of a movie as well. So
yeah, so I those were the 3 basic options.
You did? Mm-hmm. What movie?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Oh, yeah, now I want to know what movie. What was it?
It was Home Again, and it was Reese Witherspoon was like a big PR girl in the city, and so I got my degree in PR.
Was that when they brought the baby to the bar? in that movie?
I have no idea. I literally remember that one part about it. And I literally went in the following Monday and changed my major from social work to public relations. I should probably watch that again.
She's a great actress, Reese Witherspoon. Yeah. She just did You're Cordially Invited. That was good. Did you see it? With Will Ferrell? That was excellent.
I'm just now watching the morning show.
Yeah, she was great in that.
Yeah.
So after dental school, I did a general practice residency. I think you have to get experience after dental school. Dental school teaches you a few fundamentals, but it's really hard. My dad did the Air Force. He's like, do one of these GPR things. I love that. I learned to place implants. I did a multiple-year GPR. Went and joined my dad in private practice with his partner. I wouldn't be doing any of this in dentistry if my dad didn't have a partner. One of my themes is bringing dentists together, working as a group, feeling less isolated. So after my general practice residency, I joined them. I had an entrepreneurial spirit. I wanted to be like Michael Eisner from Disney. He was like the CEO of Disney. Went to Disney as a kid. I always thought that was cool.
Big dreamer.
Yes, it's a visionary, but also like being a visionary doesn't always come with all good stuff, by the way, either.
I believe that.
But I brought specialists into the practice. We purchased another practice. I was speaking on dental implants. One of my idols is John Coyce, teaching other dentists, Dennis Tarnow. People say, why do you fly around the country and teach dentists? He said, because if I can teach one dentist how to do something better, they can go back and they can back and help a lot of patients. That really was something meaningful.
Teach a man to fish.
Yes.
Love that.
So I'm doing all of that. Sadly, my dad passed away in 2016. We own multiple practices. My brother and I are running them. It was emotionally devastating. Our practices survived fine, though. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a lesson for people. I would say life happens when you're making other treatment plans. My dad was a full-time dentist. Passed away. We had to fill the void of that dentistry, keep everything going. So I think that the solo practice model, just had my friend Dr. Bob D here, and he only has an associate dentist because of me, because we became friends. I'm like, Bob, you can't do this by yourself. Hire a part-time associate dentist. For your listeners, you know what happens when you convince a dentist to hire an associate dentist? They immediately want another associate dentist, because doing chairside dentistry, full contact arts and crafts, on people that don't want to be there or pay for it, that's how I describe it, is such an intense experience that doing that by yourself for 30 or 40 years is a lot. Yeah. So I started the Facebook group. Never thought any of this stuff would happen. I was also a dental practice broker. I've helped one of your MB2 clients. She's super nice, Ann Miller. She's great. I saw her on the wall. So I was someone who's doing a variety of things, but I'll let you guys kind of catch up a little bit. I eventually was doing so many different things, I couldn't practice dentistry full time because there's only one of you.
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah. I was going to ask what it was like running a business with your brother. What are those dynamics like? Are you the older, the younger?
I'm older, and I couldn't do any of this without him. My sister, I'm the oldest, my sister's in the middle, and he's the youngest. And
who's faster?
In running or life?
Running.
Yes.
He's much faster in running. He's a very fit guy, right? I'm 47, he's 42. So he was practicing with my dad. He now runs all the practices, does a great job with the associates. He wouldn't be into this whole other life I'm doing. So I'm not really practicing clinical dentistry anymore. I go twice a month and deliver joy to my office. That's what I call it. I help, I answer questions.
Team cheerleader.
But my good friend and dental-focused attorney and podcast partner, Rob Montgomery, said, you have to replace yourself if you're going to do any of this, Paul. So I was able to replace myself with dentistry. I couldn't replace myself refereeing dentists on Facebook, because that was a special thing. And I mean, Bob D is here, Glenn Bowe, one of your MB2 partners, Doc Huffpower, Paul Goodman. There's other people. We were kind of the pioneers of this whole dental Facebook world. So when you're the pioneer of something, you don't know what's going to happen. I didn't know anyone was going to pay me to advertise in the group. That took a full year to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people would be posting pictures of their nachos in the group, and it would grow exponentially, because I think it brought fun to the dental world. I don't know if you know dentists. They can be quite serious people. But I was spending all this time doing this, and I was like, I need some help. I got a business coach, Aldana Ambler, I know is on there for later, and she kind of gave me the treatment plan for this, because if you want to open up another dental practice, you say, I have enough active patients. I need to hire a hygienist. I need to do this. But there's no real playbook for starting a company named after an appetizer. So that was the inflection point around 2018, 2019 was when that happened.
So that happens. Clearly you've sprinkled in associate, needing to have associate doctors, or replacing yourself, or adding. When did Dentist Job Connect come into the picture? Dentist
Job Connect became you want to share? So I love stand-up comedy. Nate Bargatze, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Love Nate Bargatze.
So when people see these stand-up comedians, they go, oh, look at this new guy out there. And meanwhile, Sebastian's like, I was a waiter at the Four Seasons. I've been doing stand-up comedy for 15 years. Nate Bargatze, I've been following him for years. So these stand-up comedians go, I'm not new at all. I've been doing this for a long time. So Job Connect started in 2005 when I went on Dental Town and wrote, my name is Dr. Paul Goodman. I teach at a residency program, and there's 7 amazing residents who need jobs. Please email me at paulgoodmandmd@gmail if you'd like to hire them.
Is that still your email?
That's one of my OG. Paul@dentalnachos.com is the new email.
I was about to say, we have a lot of listeners. You might start getting blown out.
Yeah, I better check that inbox.
Like, do you still have those 7
Yes, exactly, right. So there was no charge for this. I was just doing it because for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Then, people were always asking me in Philadelphia. Remember, Facebook connected the whole dental world. Prior to 2016, if you met anyone in Philadelphia who knew me since 2005 and told them that Paul started Dental Nachos, they go, oh, that's totally on brand for him. He was always a guy connecting people. But if you think about this, nobody knew each other outside of their own towns.
Yep.
Dental Town was a really great thing, and it's gone into different ways now, but Howard Fran was the ultimate pioneer. It's different than Facebook because you could be more, how much put this, like you could be anonymous on Dental Town and quite mean to people. And sometimes I think that would be tough. In Facebook, you literally have to put your face behind it.
Yep.
And my wife is a kindergarten teacher, and we run the group like a kindergarten. We're like, if you're not nice to people, we throw you out.
Keep your hands to yourself.
And I made this funny joke with my daughters who are now 10 and 6. When we started this, they were like, one was just born, the other one was like 4. I said, they're the moderators. And I said, if you're mean, these 2 are going to throw you out. But I want to share, Dental Town was like, the forerunner to all of this. But the thing with the associate with Job Connect, I found that I said there's 4 major decisions you make. Finding your first job, need help with that. Becoming a practice owner, hiring an associate dentist, and selling your practice. And in running Dental Nachos, the 2 biggest things were, I need a job and I need an associate. I need a job and I need an associate. I need to work, I want to work less. I need to work. So there's one thing, to use another cheesy metaphor.
Love it.
Bonds dentists together, right? You're solving a practice owner's problem of wanting to spend more time with their wife. I say unlock freedom, free time, or fuel growth. And best of all, there's only one thing. They say there's nothing 100% in life, right? But I disagree.
There's only 2 things.
Well, death and taxes, right?
Death and taxes.
But there's a third thing.
Okay.
It's 100%. You will never meet a dentist who's worked 4 clinical days and goes down to 3 and ever wants to go back to 4. 3 to 2, never. 2 to 1, never. It strikes fear in the heart of everyone who's ever done dentistry that their dosage will go up. Happiness in dentistry is dosage dependent. So there's MB2 owners working 2 days a week right now, and they fear working 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is we're unlocking this freedom for the owner and then giving the associates a chance to develop their skills. So I thought you start one company from the thoughts in your head. Why not start a second? So you can talk about the entrepreneurial personality. It comes with a lot of, it's not easy to deal with people like us. My wife has been on board with this the whole time. I'm very grateful for that. But we started Dentist Job Connect as a company in 2021. So I was doing it as a service inside of Dental Nachos, but it started as its own standalone company in 2021.
How do you feel like your experience as a practice owner geared you up for the roles that you play in these 2 other ventures of yours?
I think one thing I'll share, and I was talking this, and it's with these, I love the names of these things because I'm an insider, right? I'm a dentist. I've had to study these terms. They've been on tests. So when I walk around here, like something inside of me lights up when I see the dental school terms that I studied in dental school. So I think what I've done with these 2 particular startup companies, who knows, maybe in my life I'll do something totally outside of dentistry, is I am an insider. I know the pain of being a dentist. I know what it feels like to have to check hygiene patients. I know what it feels like when somebody doesn't want to open, even though you say open. And I'm like, do you know how words work, right? To a patient, but you can't say that out loud, can you? So I think knowing the pain of the people you're trying to help, I actually, if you want to share, I just thought of this. I think one of the biggest problems and the biggest disconnect between dentists and their patients is dentists rarely have any dental work done in their own mouth.
That's actually interesting.
They're flossing maniacs, right?
Yeah.
So I have this amazing person, Kate, who's my office manager, who's helped so many patients and helped us produce so much dentistry because she has 9 dental implants. She grew up in another country.
Wow.
When she came here, restorative challenges. So when she walks in, when I say, okay, Mrs. Smith, you would benefit from having teeth that don't flop around, from not missing a tooth, they just think of me as, oh, look at this guy. He must have perfect teeth. I don't have perfect teeth, by the way, but most dentists have not gone through massive amounts of dental care.
Yeah.
And you can't be relatable. But I went through the whole dental school process. So I think that's what made this group special. Because
relate to the aches and pains.
And I wasn't overly positive or overly negative, even to this day. I'm very real.
Random side note, you were saying that like, oh, do you know how words work? And you're like, you can't say that though. New idea. Y'all remember Dick's Last Resort?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
The restaurant.
Yeah. What if they had a dental office that was like that, where you just go in and everybody's kind of a jerk to you?
It's funny you said that. Someone posted on my group the other day, and I think there's only 2 places where that works, but really only one place. And it only works with food because people love food.
I just feel like it would be so
It would be
funny.
fun, right?
I feel like it would make dentistry feel a lot less scary if you already know you're going to go
I don't know either that or more scary.
If your listeners are listening
you're a quitter.
and they want to laugh and they will never do this. So there's someone named Dr. Tommy Murph, and he practices in South Carolina.
Okay.
And he responds to his Google reviews.
Oh, I've seen him.
HIPAA does not exist.
I've seen him.
Oh, I want to see.
Every
Yeah.
time someone complains about my office, HIPAA, it's like the hippo at the zoo. You're afraid of it. You can't even say you're a patient. You can be like, call our office. I don't even like to respond because I'm always worried I'm doing something wrong. But he goes right at these patients. And I don't say I agree with this, but it is very much. You will laugh when you see this.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's they're something.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Dentist Job Connect. So Sarah asked kind of what your experience of being a dentist to help kind of shape and form Dental Nachos. When it comes to recruiting associates, what are some things that you would say private practitioners underestimate?
It's a really favorite question of mine because these are my people, the dentist. I'm a practice owner too. One, they underestimate how much time it takes to go from meeting a dentist to having them work in their office. It's one of the most complex hires anyone can make. So I run 2 companies that I thought up in my head, and no one needs a license to work at Dental Nachos. I don't know if that's surprising to you, but no one went to Dental Nachos training school and needed a license. We just literally bring people off the street into our startup. To hire a dentist, you need a licensed dentist. There's not that many of those. You need a licensed dentist with a license in your state. There's fewer of those. You need a licensed dentist who wants to be a dentist in your state and live in that area. So I tell people, think of it like a child. Think of if you met someone and they were starting 9 months later, that's totally normal. In hot areas like where I practice, and that's comes as a double-edged sword. So I practice in one of the most popular places on earth, central New Jersey, to live, okay? So when I placed my own ad on Dentist Job Connect, we had 20 applicants in 2 weeks. If you're in a rural location and you place an ad, you might not get 2 applicants in a few months.
Yep.
But either way, sometimes the dentist has to leave another job. Sometimes they have to get licensed. So 1, the time it takes. 2, my dad tells this funny story. When he got out of the Air Force and joined his partner as an associate, it was like in July. And his partner, August 1st, said, see you later, I'm going to France. And my dad goes, how am I supposed to run this place? And his partner was a little like, what's that term? Like a lackadaisical or laissez-faire. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Yeah.
So the second is the amount of time you have to take to onboard someone,
To invest in,
train
yeah.
someone. And the third is how much energy it is to get your team on board with another dentist who's not you. So the other dentist who's not you is not going to do things the way you do it, may not handle problems the same way. And I always describe associates as like aunts and uncles of the dental practice. So I'm an uncle, and I love being an uncle. My niece was over this weekend, and I'm supposed to keep her safe, take her out for chicken fingers, get her too much ice cream,
Then go
and send her
home.
back to my sister.
Yep.
That's the associate, right?
Yeah.
Keep the office safe, make sure the patients are treated well, but they're not here to handle refereeing fights between assistants wanting off both on the July 4th weekend. They're not there to deal with broken toilets. So I think that the practice owners realize how much time they should be there not seeing patients. That's what I like to say for the podcast. If you were out there hiring an associate dentist, be there at the office, not seeing patients, for your associate to be able to ask you questions for a longer time than you think.
Yeah, I really appreciate that answer. Working with owner transitions and sometimes needing to hire a successor can sometimes be challenging to set expectations because at that point it isn't necessarily just an associate you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to hand your legacy off to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes even more time.
Yeah.
What are you particularly excited about for the future of Dental Nachos, but also Dentist Job Connect?
I mean, I'm excited for dentists, and maybe this sounds like cliche, but just to be better friends with each other. I think what I was talking with Jeff about is, this model that you have with MB2, and you bring people together for these trips, and they're on walls with people. Like I said this on a Mark Casas podcast, and he said, I really believe, I feel this. being a dentist is very lonely, even though you're surrounded by people. It's very lonely, and I can explain. The dental assistants hang out with each other and go to lunch with each other. The hygienists spend time with each other. The front desk talk to each other. But sometimes you're the dentist, just you all day by yourself. And then also, when we bought a satellite practice, I played the role of a solo GP on Thursdays for about 5 years. At that office, we did fillings, crowns, and hygiene checks. That's all we did. It was the most stressful days that I've ever dealt with. You have to answer all the questions yourself. You have to deal with all the emergencies yourself. So I'm excited that dentists feel like, Dr. Mitchell Rubenstein, who I helped hire in his first associate in New York City, he's like, now I can take a vacation with my wife. Now I can do more speaking. So I'm excited for dentists to actually spend more time together, realize that it doesn't have to be this Hunger Games world. That's always bothered me. You take these smart people, you put them in dental school, and you make them compete over nonsense. So that's really exciting to me. And then also just be a resource that the dental community can rely on for the stuff that they wish someone taught you. I think that's one of the worst feelings. When you're in a situation and you have to solve a problem and you think, I wish someone taught me that.
Yep.
I wish they taught me how to talk. I wish they taught me how to respond to this. And you two as normal people, us dentists are not normal people. You didn't go to dental school.
I've never been called normal before, have you?
At least you're non-dentist.
Normies.
Most of these things are not related to clinical dentistry. Most of them. And solving clinical dentistry is often fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
It's these other things, right? Team member challenges, patient expectations, dental
politics,
insurance.
yeah.
So I'm excited to be a bigger resource for that, make new friends myself.
That's really cool. When I came over to MB2 in 2019, and the very first partner doctor I talked to, I just asked, my line of like what I do here is I talk with prospective partners. And so I wanted the perspective of one of our current partners to be like, okay, well, what is it about MB2? Like, tell me, like, how's it impacted you? And he said exactly what you just said, which is I was on an island surrounded by people. Everybody came to me for the answer, and I had nobody to go to validate an answer or figure out, is this the right thing to do? Has anybody ever done this? Because, I've got friends who are dentists, but we're all kind of this like awkward tension. And he was like, I got to MB2 and that all changed.
Yeah, I call it friends in your phone. You just who you can text, who you can call. It's also my shirt I wear for you guys. So CBITA, I've made it up. It's the number one KPI. It's better than Nebia.
Check it out. Check us out on YouTube, and you can see Dr. Goodman's shirt.
Yeah. So what's your CBITA level? Stress building inside towards dentist annoyance. How annoyed are you daily in your practice? Because I think I actually spoke for a group, and they asked me to talk about doubling stuff, right? Doubling profit. But I took it as they wanted me to talk about doubling profit. But I said to this group of 500 people in the audience, raise your hand. You could double your profit. You could double your happiness. You could double your sanity. Sanity won.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not always having the right conversation with these dentists. Do you want to make more money? Do you want your EBITDA to be better? EBITDA? I'd like to not have to go into my office and referee fights between my front desk. I like to have to go into my office and not realize the whole day is shot because one person's child is sick and I don't know what to do next. So I think CBITA, mark it down. It's going to be just as important as EBITDA.
CBITA.
So mark it down.
Yeah.
Love it. I'm going to take that directly when we're done. I'm going to take it directly over to our Chief Development Officer, Jake. And I'm going to say, Jake, we need to start measuring CBITA in these offices.
Sounds like the perfect podcast episode title.
You said, where does happiness show up in your P&L? Where does it for the dentist? Who asked them about that?
Yeah.
I love that mentality. I want to make sure before you wrap up, I know you've touched on a few names of people that sound like they've inspired you in some way. I want to hear a little bit more about those people and the lessons that you've learned.
Yeah, I love this question. I love the opportunity to kind of also, it really is meaningful to me to share my gratitude towards them. So when I was having what I would call a fun, nervous breakdown in 2018, practicing dentistry, transitions broker, teaching live surgery implant courses, and running this wild Facebook group, Carol Kivler, my original coach, my friend,
a mental health coach. Yes,
she was a communications coach. Interesting about Carol, if you look up Kivler Communications, she's a huge mental health advocate.
That's what I did. I Googled her.
Yeah, she's gone through many things herself personally. She's a big NAMI proponent. What she does now, it gives me chills to think of it, is like she helps other people get mental health. Like kind of like a caddy on U.S. Open weekend, because like these people have problems and they go to NAMI, but someone needs to guide them.
What's a NAMI?
NAMI is national mental illness. There's the A in there, association. That's what she was our original communication coach back in 2010, helped the practice, taught us about putting positive deposits in people's emotional bank account, taught the team how to get along. And but when I was having this fun, nervous breakdown, I was like, Carol, I started this stuff. I've been trying to bring money in for it. I got all these things. She goes, you need to talk to my business coach, Aldana Ambler. And Aldana Ambler's worked with the U.S. president. She's helped companies grow. So I was taking an Uber home from a live surgery implant course, and I said to Aldana, which one of the things should I quit? Should I quit being a dentist? Should I quit being a transitions broker? Should I quit running this Facebook group? Just tell me what to quit, and I will quit them. I will never forget this. And I was just so excited for her to tell me what not to do. And she goes, you don't want to quit any of these things. You needed 2 full-time team members, 6 months working for you every day. And I hired 2 people from my life savings because no one's giving you, you know what's crazy? You know who likes dentists? Banks. They like dentists. They believe in you like your mom. Imagine if someone had $600,000 in debt and they came up to you and said, I'd like another $1 million.
Yeah.
Who else would give that? So dental banks are very positive, like ours, but no one's going to give you a loan for a company called Dental Nachos. So she showed me the blueprint for this thing. Now we have, like, between the companies, over 20 people working Job Connect at Nachos. I get to build a team. So her role in my life, I've mentioned Dr. Mark Costas helped me pay attention to my numbers. My own dad, you know, who kind of, like, if it's the theme of this podcast, he always took helping people seriously, but he didn't take himself too seriously. And that to me was like something I always try to put into what I do.
I really like that.
More fun, you know? Yeah, like that's why I said, you know, when I was talking about it, sadly, when he passed away, and that's like, you know, he just was someone who wanted to help people, but didn't take himself too seriously. And I just think that's like dentistry life could use more of that, but especially the dental world.
Oh, gosh.
You didn't mention Gary Vee, but he was on your list.
Well, I owe him a lot. I was on Tea with Gary Vee. One of my sponsors got me on that during the pandemic. It was really great. So we'd interview entrepreneurs for 10 minutes each and give them advice. No strings attached. It was great. And I luckily got on it.
Wait, you gave him advice or he gave advice?
Me advice.
Okay, I was like, that'd be weird.
He'd give entrepreneurs across the country, no matter what you're doing. You're starting a candle company. But I listened to his podcast a lot over the pandemic about empathy, about, you know, my daughter starred as a Crush in Finding Nemo. So do you remember the song Just Keep Swimming with Dory? Like, kind of like just keep sharing your content. It's not easy to put yourself out there on social media. People could hate like a sunny day. People could hate free ice cream. So he really gave me, like, by listening to him, sort of this internal strength to keep sharing your message no matter what, because it's easy to stop. It is easy to stop because when you do this, people will come at you from all angles on the internet. Sebastian Maniscalco's joke is, before the internet, these people lived in their basement and would just yell at themselves, and now they're online. So that was big. So that group there was really, really powerful.
And there's a lot of truth in all of that. You bring an incredible amount of positivity, which I can appreciate.
Good. I like that. I mean, there's so many things in life. Life's annoying, right? It's like parenting. It's 50% awesome, 50% annoying, 100% exhausting. And dentistry is like that too.
And amazing, and you never change.
But amazing. And that's what you know, I don't know if you'll ask me the final question before we're out of time, but you're asking about, like, what's the one thing that you need. And I think to do a startup, to add another practice, to do something, you have to love it in a special way. And I don't love dentistry in that way. I like dentistry. Dentistry was a normal thing. I didn't invent it. My dad was a dentist in the town. These are normal career paths. If you're going to do something special, own 10 practices, start up a company, you have to love it in a special way like your kids. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to do it.
There'd be no good reason to do it.
There would be no good reason to do it.
I love that outlook on parenting.
You have to love it in a special way.
Is there anything we missed that you wanted to make sure we touched on?
No, I really appreciate the chance to share these. I think podcasts are, I don't want to say undervalued, but they're just amazing because you can listen to them at any time. I encourage your listeners to, like, consume them inside and outside of dentistry. Other podcasts listen to, like Entrepreneurs on Fire, Alex Hermosi. There's just amazing that you put learning in your ear and make yourself a happier person. Learn from other people's experiences. So I think you guys are doing the work of the Lord G.V. Black. Your listeners will laugh because G.V. Black was a famous dentist. And it's awesome that you take the time to interview people like me. Is
GV letters or is it like J-E?
I'm actually good. You guys should name a room GV Black behind Dr. V's back somehow or something. You should unveil the GV Black because that's one of the nerdiest of dental terms. I actually share my phones next to me. I don't know what the GV stands for. I should.
But it's initials. It's not
it's
like
his initials. Yeah.
A word.
He was like the father of dentistry. Taught how to prepare the teeth. We don't use these.
Daddy dentistry.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a founding father of dentistry.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Well, Paul, Dr. Goodman, great to have you on. We
Yeah, thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
MB2 Undergrounders, this is the conclusion of this episode. So we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.